Hi guys, happy Tuesday. This week I'm going to talk about something that I find a little interesting. I don't know if you're going to find it interesting, but we're going to talk about it anyways because I think it sounds like fun. We have a guest this week. This is the lovely Kristen. I know her face is terrifying. Please excuse her, she can't control it. Anyways, Kristen decided to be my model this week to show you guys the differences between toners and shampoos. So we used on her hair, we used this wonderful 5-minute toner from Matrix that I am in love with, and I've been using on pretty much like every single one of my blondes. And I also used good old Brass Off. It's a blue-based shampoo that is supposed to help cancel out any brassy tones. So I decided to compare the two and see which one works a little bit better and which one is a little lacking. And I've come to this cool conclusion that you kind of need both when you have like hair that's either brassy or even blondes, because blondes you want to cancel out the yellow tones, with darker blondes you want to cancel out orange tones, and this kind of helps me realize that you definitely need both. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So in this lovely quadrant of her hair, you can see that it's pretty orange, pretty brassy. It's a little pretty on her, but that's just because mannequins react differently to hair color than humans do. So if this was a real person, it would not be this pretty. I can promise you that. And it's gonna look like that dingy orange color that's just bleh. But on the quadrant next to her, I used the Brass Off shampoo. I washed her twice, let it sit for 5 minutes both times, and you can see that it kind of toned down a little bit of that brass, but not as much. It blended in some of those highlights in a little bit better, and it didn't look as startling orange as this side does. On the other back quadrant, I used the Brass Off toner. So I'm sorry, it's not Brass Off, it's anti-brass. If that for 5 minutes, I applied it to wet hair like I normally would with a toner, and it took a lot of the warmth out. Like you can kind of see a little bit of a difference. This side is a little bit more ashy. Like I wouldn't call it completely ash, but more towards the neutral side than this one is. See if you can see that. And then on the last quadrant, I toned this one with the anti-brass again for 5 minutes on wet hair, and then I washed her twice with the Brass Off. And you can see a pretty big difference. The highlights in this have more of a bluish tone, and it's definitely more towards a natural color versus that bright orange in the beginning. Like you can even see the two, how different they look. Basically, I did this because I wanted to show people that if you're wanting to go lighter, or if you're wanting to not have brassy hair, if you hate like a red tint or an orange tint or a yellow tint in your hair, your best bet is going to be come in, get a toner. These 5-minute toners, you can literally come in on a lunch break. All you have to do is come in, let me wash your hair, apply it for the 5 minutes, and then we can just dry it and you can go back on your way. It's quick and easy, and it takes less time than coming in for a full color, which is pretty awesome. The other important thing is your at-home care. So you can use the Brass Off with the toner to help keep that color intact, because toners are like every other color. They're going to fade quick. So you want to have a good at-home care regimen to make sure that everything stays the way you want it to for as long as you want it to. You can use Brass Off every single time you wash your hair, or you can use it, mix it with your other shampoos. It just depends, and that's one of those things we can talk about when you come in and get these toners. So you can do the anti-brass, which will help get rid of the orange, as we kind of saw with Kristen over here. There's the anti-yellow, which will help with those platinum blondes that have a little bit of a yellow tint to them. It'll help get rid of that. And then there's also anti-red. So if you're a brunette and you have a red tint that you just absolutely do not like, you can even come in for a toner and we can take care of that for you. Well, that's all I'm going to talk about this week. If you have any questions, feel free to message me, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.